Well, hello, welcome to a very hot Jim's Allotment garden. Okay, so now it's time to prick out the Calabrese or the green broccoli. And as you can see, they're probably about sort of 3 or 4 inches high, and again a little bit leggy in the greenhouse. So what you need to do, and exactly like you do at the beginning of the year, just find a spare bit of compost there where there isn't any, and then stick your finger underneath. As soon as you've got the first few out, then it becomes a lot easier. And what you want to do is try and get as much root as you probably can do without damaging anything. Obviously I've not touched the plant itself, I've only touched the root. I've got some little pots here, the normal ones that I use. And then I'm going to plant them, because they're a little bit leggy, what I'm going to do is plant them about 1 inch or so deeper than they were originally. So I'm just making a hole there, picking it up by its root. Now obviously always remember with a plant, particularly when there's the young like this, that they will you know, if you damage a leaf or the roots, they will always recover, but if you damage the stem, a plant's not going to recover from that. So I've got a few more here, just touching the roots obviously. Just by pulling them apart like that I can get the root there. Now the soil's kind of fallen away from it, so there's not a lot of root on there. What I'm going to do is just bob him in there, planting it about 1 inch or so deeper than it was, very very gently, point it in like that. As I say, they're about 1 inch or so deeper than they were, like that. And then these will soon, now with brassicas always have a weak root system, so if you can plant them a little bit deeper, what that's going to do is 2 things. One, it's going to get the roots down a bit deeper, which is going to enable them to get a bit more nutrient, but also what it's going to do is give the plant that little bit more stability, you know, so it won't rock in the ground as it gets larger. So I've just got one more in this tray here, see if I can get one out here. There you go. So I'm holding it by its root. Drop them in like that. As I say, I've planted them about 1 inch or so deep. So all I need to do now is give them a bit of water, and they'll now happily grow on in the greenhouse till they get to about 6 inches or so high, exactly as they were before. And I'll be planting these out in 2 places. One in the new tunnel at the bottom, which I hope you've seen in the tour video, and then these will also be planted to replace the ones that were in the larger tunnel as well. With brassicas, you shouldn't plant them in the same position twice, I know, but I'm going to plant these again in the same place. I haven't got club root there or anything, but in the same season you can sort of get away with this if you've got a succession of crops. So that's the first 8. I'll just do the rest, and then I'll be planting these out in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. Okay, so the Birdhouse Gourds have not been overly successful this year. I've planted 8, and out of the 8 only 2 have survived, so what I'm going to do is put some more in. So it's not too late to put them in still. This is kind of the last time you can do them. We're on a Birdhouse Gourd, I don't know if you can see, but there's like at the top of the seed, there's like those 2 little pips. What you want to do is just get either a scalpel or a pair of scissors or something like that, and then just cut through like that, and that will help them to germinate. So what you want to do is cut through so you can see the seed, And then, so I'll just do a couple more. So what you need to do is just, you can either do this with scissors or with a scalpel like I'm doing here. Obviously be careful if you're using scalpels. Or you can just use some sandpaper and sand the corners off. But this actually helps them to, for the water to get in there and for the kernel to actually activate and start to grow. So I'll just take, this one's actually got 4 on for some reason. So I'm not quite sure which end's the, I think I've got the end. Right, so that's 4 seeds. I'll just do 2 more. Like that. One more, let's do that one. So I'm just cutting off the corner. Like that, so you end up with the seed look kind of looking, I don't know if you can see that, like that, so you cut the corners off. And as soon as you've done that, obviously I don't need those 3. I did get these seeds last year, so they may not be as good this year. Just put these seeds to one side. So all I've got now is these pots here. What I'm going to do is put the seed in on its side, like that, about 2 inches or so into the compost, like that. And put the compost over. Then I'll water these now, and hopefully these will grow on to give me some birdhouse gourds later this year. Okay, so I'll just give you a quick look around. The mint and the oregano's doing really well. The oregano's sort of picked up on this side, but that side of the plant there is still quite dead, so I need to sort of cut that back. The rosemary's doing as it always does. Okay, just coming down here. This is as it was. The thyme plants are struggling a little bit there, so I really do need to get them in the ground, but I'm not quite sure why. They've been struggling there because I haven't watered them too much, because thyme likes to be dry, it doesn't like too much water, but they're kind of struggling there. There's some strawberry plants that I put in out the ground over there, so they're doing quite well. They'll put those in if there's any missing places. Right, moving on, you can see the bees are still on the comfrey. I've tied this back since the last video. I've put some stakes in and put a steel bar across there just to hold it away from the asparagus. Likewise on the asparagus, I've built I put some steel bars down. These are from Black Country pins, and I've put some, I've cable tied some bamboo across because all this had kind of flopped over. So that's all sort of tied back now, as you can see, and so it stops the stops it falling over everything. Raspberries are doing really well at the moment, as you can see. Got loads of raspberries coming, so I'm picking these on a daily basis now. As you can see, and they do taste really nice this year. Okay, coming around here, you can see the raspberries are quite nice and big. This is a yellow variety of raspberry. I don't know if you can see. They don't taste anywhere near as good as the red ones, to be honest with you, but they look nice nevertheless. Okay, so the fruit trees, as you can see, the pears are forming really well. And up here, at the bottom there, those are the sunflowers we put in, and obviously the sunflowers up to here now. So it's grown a good sort of foot or so. That's the Birdhouse Gourd. There's not a lot of change on those yet. Those have been watered every other night, but likewise with the ivy gourds, there's one there, they just don't seem to have moved at all. This is the josterberry tree, as you can see they're just starting to go, sort of get a bit of colour to them. So as you can see from the early ones, or the younger ones, josterberries are a cross between a gooseberry and a black currant. So that's why they look like little gooseberries when they're young, and then they sort of go to this dark, like blackberry colour as they get older. So as soon as they go completely dark, that's the time to pick them. But they are a little bit tart, but they're not quite as tart as gooseberries. Cherry tree's done really well, as you can see. Got some really nice cherries. We picked some early this week. some nice ones here. So luckily the birds haven't noticed them yet, so I'm picking them before the birds notice them. We did lose a few when we had that windy session a couple of weeks ago. As you can see, there's a few knocked off on the floor, but luckily these ones have stayed on the tree, and we're picking them at the moment. So we've got another ivory gourd there, and obviously the sunflowers going along, and then we've got another birdhouse gourd at the end. Again, they've not really moved yet, but the thing is with old gourds, they tend to sit there doing nothing for ages, then all of a sudden they just go balmy and grow like there's no tomorrow. Those are the strawberries. We have been picking strawberries, and you can see some of them have taken quite well. This one here, even though there's a potato growing out of it, you can see it's actually throwing out some runners, so that one's definitely taken. So what I'll do is, obviously there are some spaces where they've not taken too well, and what I'll be doing is bobbing some new ones in. Potatoes have done really well. I have still got some spaces, and there is weed in there, unfortunately. I have been through a number of times and weeded it, but it gets to this point in the year where you need to be careful weeding potatoes, because you potentially do more damage weeding them than you actually do by taking the weeds out. So what you need to do is tread really carefully. Potato tops are easily damaged, so you need to be careful not to sort of damage the. But I've weeded in from the sides, but this bit in the middle here is really difficult to get to, but I will be doing a bit more weeding on that when I get 5 minutes. Okay, coming down to the onions. The onions have been completely weeded out. Well, I say completely. I've taken all of the weeds out that are sort of going to make any difference to anything. As you can see, there is some still small ones in there that have come through since I've weeded it. But I need to go through that again. But at least you can see the onions, and they're they're getting the light and that. This side, for some reason, has done a lot better than that side. This side seems to be struggling a little bit. The top end over there, which you'll see when I go around the other side, they're growing really well. But this end here, I'm not quite sure why, but they've not grown anywhere near as well as these rows here, or the end bit. So these are the parsnips. As you can see, they're now doing really well. I've just give them a little bit of water because they're a little bit dry, but I tend not to water parsnips, because what you want parsnips to do is send the tapping root, which is the bit you eat, down into the ground to get the water. And if you water them, you're not encouraging them to grow the tapping root. Sweet peas are up to about kind of 4 foot now. I'm tying these back. I need to put another tie on them actually, but there is one here actually that's just starting to flower. So there's a pink one coming through there. So, but they're doing all right. Right, in the first tunnel, I've got a bit of a problem with the spinach beet. Now, because this weather we've been having, it's running to seed. So this one here, this one, as you can see, it's actually running to seed, which is a real shame really, but this is because of the weather we've been having. I have been watering it, but some of the row has started to run to seed, which is real pain. I've got some more here, and I'm about to plant some more in the other tunnel, so it's not a massive loss. But if they do completely run to seed, what I'll do is I'll take it off and I'll just plant some more. The Calabrese is at the back here, as you can see. This is all doing really well. So that's what the Calabrese looks like now. So it's about kind of 4 inches or so across, so they're really close to being picked. See, there's a slightly bigger one there, and then at the end here, I think this one's probably the biggest one. So you can see that's now ready to be picked. Then we've got the at the back here we've got the flower sprouts. So those there are flower sprouts, and these here. And then we've got the Scottish kale at the front here, and then at the back we've got the Petrarch kale. Everything's looking okay there. They're merely growing on. Got some weeds on the ground. The weeds are growing like billio at the moment. I was weeding for about 2 hours yesterday. I've been spending probably about an hour a night, also when I can, weeding as well. But that's the first tunnel. Okay, on the gourd side of things, this is the courgettes. As you can see, the courgettes are forming there. The leaves are going a little bit yellow, so what I did, even though they've been watered every other night, so I know it's not lack of water, so what I'm going to do is put some Epsom salts on these, because this could be a magnesium deficiency. But anyway, that's what the courgettes look like. That's these first 6 on both sides. Then we've got the pumpkins. This one's really starting off. As you can see, it's starting to throw its first shoot out. That one again, these two are the two that Tina and Jason gave me the seed for. So they're growing really well. These ones are the bought packet. So unfortunately this one's sending its runner that way, which is towards the bean. So what I want to do is just put a stick in there and sort of move that round so it grows back that way. I think that's probably going to be better. This one luckily is throwing its runner that way, so what I can do is just put a little stick in there and just encourage it to grow up the back of there, and then that'll work out quite well. Those are the butternut squashes. So they've had a good watering, but they seem to be suffering a little bit as well. I've just noticed there's a bit of slug damage on that one there, so I'll put some slug pellets on. These are the other pumpkins. As you can see, I've got one pumpkin, little teeny pumpkin forming there, and that's going the right way, so I don't need to put a cane on that. And this one again has got a little pumpkin forming there, so the pumpkins are coming on really well. That's okay, moving around here. The rhubarb is starting to die back now, but it's not doing too badly at all. Okay, so the second tunnel, as you can see, it's all been dug out. I've left this middle path in the middle, and basically what I've done is, yesterday I pulled out this side and I've dug all the way up to the rhubarb because we've got bindweed in there. But funnily enough, the bindweed's not in the rhubarb, it's just up the side of it here. But anyway, I managed to get all of that out. So this is all dug out now and all ready to go. So I just need to break this up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is put down this side here is going to be some more beetroot. Sorry, some more spinach. So this side's going to be predominantly spinach. The reason being is I obviously had the kale, which is a brassica, there last year, and the start of this year. So you shouldn't put a brassica in the same place 2 years running. So I'm going to put spinach down this side, and then on this side there's going to be beetroot and potentially some of the second batch of Calabrese or green broccoli is going to go down this side, because on this side I had spinach last year, so I can afford to put a brassica there. So that's all been dug over. Just needs breaking up a little bit and levelling off, and then I'll be ready to plant that hopefully this afternoon. So moving around the front, just put this brick back. Okay, moving around the front here, I've put some bamboo canes up here for the sunflowers. Now I have been asked a couple of questions about sunflowers. So here are the sunflowers here, about 2 foot high or so at the moment, going along. And what I've done is I've put some good sturdy bamboo canes up with a cross piece going along like that. And then we've got these metal stakes, again from Black Country pins, going into the ground. I've got 4 of those running along with the bamboo, and then it's all cable tied together, so you know, in any strong winds that's not going to go anywhere. And then I've just got Velcro on the sunflowers, as you can see there, just tying them up. Then obviously that Velcro will come off when they get a bit older, and I'll move the tie further up, or put a bigger tie on. But that's where the sunflowers are along there. And as you can see, the calendulas are just starting to come through. Again, out to the light, you can see how brilliant they are. Lovely flowers, and I never plant these are all self-set from last year, so they're doing really well. There's quite a few here. I seem to have a wet corner here. This is the wettest corner of the allotment, so you can see the sunflowers have really benefited from that. So as you can see, the sunflowers here are a good sort of 9 inches or so higher than all the rest, and the calendulas again. Got some really nice calendulas at this end. So that's the calendulas there, and then the runner beans are doing really well. Most of them are at the top now, as you can see going round. What I have had a few problems this year with these runner beans, because what they tend to do is unravel themselves or go to the next one and twist themselves around the pole next to them. And this is because we've had quite a lot of wind at night, and what it does is it tends to unravel them, and then they flop over and then start twisting up the next two. And so what I have to do is very carefully unravel them from the pole and then put them back on the right pole and put them back up. So I did it again last night, so fingers crossed that should be okay now. As soon as they get up so far, they're all right, you know, they'll carry on. This is the mashua, as you can see. That's growing quite merrily. What I do need to do is tie this up a little bit, but I need to get up here and weed. There's a few weeds formed at the back there, so and along here. So this is one bit I haven't weeded yet. So I'll come along here, and this is my next job, to weed all of this. But that's what the back side of it looks like. See, what you need to do is see this one here. Look, you see that's wrapped itself around the pole next to it. It's this one here. That's on the wrong pole. So what you have to do is kind of do that, and then very carefully, because these are easily snapped if you're not careful. Twist them around like that, and then when it gets to the top, like this one here, you see that's just at the right length. As soon as that gets to the top, what you want to do is pinch out the growing tip there like that, so you take out the top little bit. See, this one here's gone a bit further, so you can take that one back to there. So I've taken off all of that, and what this actually does is it encourages the plant to throw up other runners. So what it'll do is, as soon as that one stops there, so I've taken out the top little bit, it'll start throwing more shoots from here and further down here, and so what you get is a much bushier plant further down, rather than it all being at the top. If it's all at the top, the structure becomes a little bit unsteady, and it gets like top heavy, which then there's more chance of it falling over. Whereas if you pull the tops out like this, what it'll actually do is it'll encourage the plant to send more shoots up from the bottom, which will make it bushier at the bottom, where you can actually get to the beans and see the beans a lot better, and less so at the top, to make it less top heavy. So as soon as you get to the top like that, that one's, actually we'll probably take that one out as well. Anything like that, just take out the end tip like that, and then it'll start throwing up more shoots like these here. Look, they're kind of secondary shoots that it's thrown up from the bottom. Then they'll start wrapping themselves around everything, and away you go. So that's what the runner beans look like. This is the other side of the parsnips, as you can see, doing really well now. They've really picked up. This is the other side of the onions. Now, this side's doing much better. You can see how thick the bottom of these onions are. See, they're really sort of forming quite nicely there, doing really well. And yet, the ones at that end aren't doing so well at all. Not quite sure why, but what I will be doing is giving these a really good watering tonight. I think it's been a week or so since they've had a bit of rain. So what I will do is give these a really good dosing of water tonight. This is the potatoes again, as you can see, doing really well. Even the bits where we've got some missing, there are actual potato plants coming out now. So I'm not quite sure why, but some of the potatoes have been really late coming through. But they have come through, but they've just been 2 or 3 weeks behind the rest. So that's all the potatoes. I've actually got some runner beans coming through on the potatoes here. But anyway, so that's the rest of the potatoes. So these 2 rows here are the Maris Piper, which haven't done that well, to be fair. And then this one here is self-kept seed from Kestrel, and that far end there is the Purple Majestic. And then this row, and this row are bought Kestrel, and then these last ones here are seed that I've kept. So even though these are a bit smaller than these were put in a week or so before them, so I think that's possibly the difference you got there. So don't make a comparison there. It's all about what you dig out of the ground, I think, as opposed to what's on the top. Plenty of strawberries coming on there. That's the apple tree, as you've seen, obviously the cherry tree at the end there. Plenty more as we see. Now here are the climbing beans, and as you can see, they're climbing. So these have had a few dashes of water this week. These were struggling a little bit. I think it's a bit dry for them here, but I gave them a load of water a couple of times this week, and it's really picked them up. So with beans, give them plenty of water. Here we've got the, I'll step this way so you're not looking at my shadow. These are the asparagus peas, and as you can see, the pods are actually forming on there. There's not many, but I was hoping that they'd take off a bit more, but I have been watering those every night. That's the Acullo, which has grown quite nicely there. That's really establishing itself. And then we got the Yacon from Jason and Tina, which is starting to throw out little side shoots. And then I've got some Alicante tomatoes in here. I've put a bit of a shield up there just to shield them from the wind, but they're not looking very happy with themselves, unfortunately. So I'm not 100% sure if I've got some kind of blight on them, to be honest, but I'm keeping my eye on them. They will be pulled out if obviously if there's any blight on them. But anyway, that's what the top bit looks like. And then here we've got the comfrey coming back with a vengeance. It's throwing out the shoots. This is the Swede seed that I'm saving. Obviously that's drying out in the sun now, but these are really starting to fatten up. You can actually feel the seeds inside the pots now. Then inside the greenhouse we've got cucumbers, as you can see at the back there. We've got a nice big cucumber forming there. This one's sort of really climbing up the roof now. This one's really going for it. Underneath I've got some more cucumbers, as you can see at the back. That one, this plant here is just forcing its way through, and that one's just sort of getting there. So they are coming through. As you can see, I've kept an inch or so of water in that tray at the bottom, but they're now really coming on. These are the jalapeno plants. As you can see, I'm keeping them in the shade a little bit under there. They really should come out on the top here, but they're growing quite nicely there, so I'll leave them there. Those are the sweet pepper plants, still sort of coming on. A couple of them are struggling a little bit. These are the ones that were attacked by slugs, but we'll see how they get on. Right, the basil's doing really well, as you can see. I'm not watering this too much. You don't want to give basil too much water, but I will be putting these out. I've got some more down here, look, amongst these tomatoes, but I will be putting the basil out before too much longer. Those are the beetroot plants, which are going to go down in the bottom tunnel. This is the Calabrese, which now needs to be pricked out. It's looking a little bit leggy, which I'm surprised in how much light it's getting, but these need to be pricked out now into pots. And then this is the Swede, so they need to go out into the bottom tunnel as well. So tomatoes on this side, these are the Alicante tomatoes, and they're not looking overly happy with themselves, particularly that one at the back there. I'm keeping my eye on that, but I'm not overly happy with these this year, to be honest with you. So, but they are growing, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and leave them there for a bit. So that's the Alicante tomatoes. On the other side, we've got the money maker. As you can see, these are growing really well now. They're up to about 4 foot now. I've got a bee in here, look, just pollinating the plants, the flowers for me. But they have now got, some of them have got 3 fruit trusses on. Obviously, remember to take out the side shoots when you see them. They're ideal when they get to about that size because they snap off quite easily. As you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3 fruit trusses on that one. They've all been tied back, so these are doing really well. These have actually benefited quite a lot from me not putting the cucumber plants at the back there where I normally put them, because that normally takes the light away from them. Whereas this year, because I've got the cucumbers on the other side of the greenhouse, they've benefited from more light. So I think that's why these are doing really well, because these get the afternoon light, because the sun comes up kind of over there. As you can see, it's now above us because it's around midday, and then the sun sets and it goes round that way, so obviously these get all the afternoon sun. Another cucumber plant here. This is one of the grafted ones. As you can see, we've got little cucumbers forming on there. Now this is going to go in the second greenhouse when I've got that straight, so that one's doing really well. Obviously got some nice little flowers on as well. The cayenne pepper plant, as you can see, we've got some more. Those are the peppers there. We've got some more forming at the top here. These are the jalapeno chilies. Again, quite happy in there. I've got some more on this side. No flowers or fruits yet, but they've started to send out the 3 little shoots at the top, so they'll be flowering before too much longer. And the grapes, I have cut back the grapevine. I don't know if you can see, but this is a lot more open now. I've taken out quite a bit of the grapevine, leaving these bunches of grapes here, which seem to be the best ones. I may well take a few more bunches of grapes out, because there's one kind of stuck up in there, which I might take out. But we've got a nice bunch of grapes here as well, and we've got a couple at the end here. So all in all, there's about 10 bunches of grapes now on the grapevine, so they're doing okay. So that's what the allotment looks like middle of June. So, I hope this episode was of some use to you. Please don't hesitate to put any comments or questions you've got below, and I'll always get back to you. And I'll see you on the next episode of Jim's Allotment Garden.